Abel.
Because for the love of everything holy, I don't want to hear the history anymore. I just want it fixed. But when you turn around and look at the school board or the superintendent, you show distrust and a lack of confidence in their ability to do their job.
I have a feeling that your mind is already made up at this point. If that means a tax increase to help fix what has been broken and neglected for over a decade, then that is what you, as the leader, are called to do.
If Stafford continues to underfund our schools, we'll all pay the price eventually.
2 weeks ago, I watched community members from both sides of the aisle stand up and say the same thing over and over again. People who are not always on the same side. In fact, folks who have frequently been at odds. And they all had the same message: to prioritize school funding, and it gave me so much hope. Keeping the lights on isn't going to cut it anymore. Our school system is living paycheck to paycheck in a house that is too small to meet our needs. So please enact change.
The schools, I've heard a lot about schools, they can be funded without this historic tax rate. There are proposed data centers that are coming to Stafford. That is income that will be available to the county. Let's focus on what the county needs, what the school board needs, not what the school board or the county wants.
Is that it appears that businesses like data centers are offered tax incentives to entice them to move into the county, while county residents are left footing the entire tax bill. If you pass these tax increases, we will be forced to choose between insulin, home caregiving services, or simply even having a place to live.
I don't know if you're aware, but there's a preschool bus route that is over an hour long. Can you imagine a preschooler or a special needs child on the bus for an hour or more every morning and afternoon?
And though I do not envy the board in its task to allocate our county budget, I urge the board to fully fund our public school system this year.
I fear that many long-term Stafford residents will seek greater pastures. Families will not be able to adequately save for their future. Production and innovation will decline in this county. Crime will spike, and businesses will suffer because of it.
But Stafford County has zero people, zero. When are you going to focus on making Stafford County resident-friendly?
How is this sustainable? Please, with all diligence, see cuts in spending in all areas, maybe not in school funding, and I'm for additional school resource officers.
We are at 105% capacity. There are children everywhere. In workrooms, in hallways, there are extra classes in the library. STEM is being taught off of a cart. And trailers are coming in the fall. The need to fully fund the schools has been neglected for so long that it is now a crisis situation.
The school system's been getting the shaft. Teachers have been getting the shaft. County administration, including the old board members that are no longer here, haven't been doing their due diligence, haven't been doing their job, underfunding the schools. We want to compare ourselves to Prince William County. We don't have the tax base of Prince William County. They have data centers, they have businesses. We don't bring any of that into this county. So basically, the increase that you want to make is all on the taxpayers.
I find it ironic that many of the individuals who are against increasing the tax rate are some of the same individuals who marched and gave interviews to news organizations to protest how they felt about their kids having to wear masks to school during the height of COVID. And let's not forget, the individuals included some of you board members who supported the useless and racist-related resolution condemning the non-existent CRT in Stafford School. The parents and board members who protested and supported those topics did it under the guise of loving the kiddos. Yet, when the opportunity comes for them to put their money where their mouths are, they choose money over their kids' education.
I'm a refugee from the Chicago area, so I kind of talk direct with an accent. With the schools, every person I spoke before, wholeheartedly, schools are a travesty. Buses are a travesty. Pay raises for the board. Do like the rest of us, get a second job.
Why do you want me to cut from my family expenses to pay for the potential tax hike on property alone?
My kids, I have 6 kids. I've been raising kids in Stafford for 20 years, and I have seen the schools decline. You already know the numbers. You know that it's shameful. My 6-year-old has an IEP. She's a special needs student. She had an amazing teacher that quit 2 months into the school year because her classroom was a crowded mess and she's not being paid well. I love our SRO in our elementary school. He is amazing. I do not support spending that money on SROs. Fix the problem before we become a soft target or a hard target. We need that mental health care in the school system.
I don't know what the priorities of the county have been throughout the years or where the money has gone. The advertised 38% increase is absolutely absurd.
Our county is in a state of being constantly reactive, never proactive, and that serves no one's best interests. I would urge you to take a long, hard look at what the priorities of the Board of Supervisors says about our county and about the members. Our schools have been in trouble for a long time. This is your chance to begin making it right.
It would appear compassionate to fund every single dream of the employees of Stafford County, including your own. I know I would wish I could double my pay. I mean, that'd be fantastic. I don't get one as a student, unfortunately. Maybe that's something you can consider in next year's budget. There we go. That my little sister would pay out, not me, unfortunately. But a 40% tax hike in today's economy would be, I have to say, pretty monumentally destructive, if you ask me. It would drive citizens out and make Stafford unlivable for families like mine. That being said, Stafford has underfunded its schools for a pretty gosh darn long time. The time to level up our education system and send Stafford into its exciting future, I believe, is right now, this month. You just stop building houses, let small businesses move in, and propel our schools into first world status while maintaining low taxes, and I think, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be just fine.
The reason we're seeing sticker shock tonight is because of all the years of neglect that led up to that. Finally, we should compare ourselves going north, not to Spotsylvania.
Sadly, the major factor that has placed a difficult burden on our educators is the enormous cost our school systems must bear from the undocumented community forced upon us under the cover of darkness. Setting an irresponsible tax rate to bring undesirables in our community will guarantee only one thing: more crime and other people sitting before me. And you must say no to a school district out of control.
The increase would cost me less than the price of a latte per day.
I have to say that I want the schools to be better. I can't be selfish on this.
On March 24th, both CLTs were out, and Felicity went to school with no means of communication, either receptively or expressively. SCPS currently has a ratio of 1 interpreter to 2 students. This doesn't come close to meeting the needs of these deaf kids, and they're getting left without access on a regular basis.
Not everybody gets 100% of what they want.
What does a partial lockdown turned full lockdown look like when my son is in a trailer?
The bottom line is our schools need to be funded at the expense of other things.
It's the responsibility to me for the Board of Supervisors to find an alternate plan to kind of fund what we have in Stafford County.
My concern is that this board, specifically 4 of you, are taking the easy way out.
What that tells me is that you must look at homeowners as your very own piggy bank that you can tap into to pay for even more government spending.
I've seen it coming, and I've spoken out on it for years. My district supervisor at this afternoon's meeting, and again this evening, tried to lay out a case that the supervisors were blindsided, my word, when it comes to school infrastructure needs. My recollection is that the schools over the years were talked out of laying it all out in the CIP.
I'm pleased to know that all 7 members of our Board of Supervisors campaigned with education as one of their top 3 campaign issues. As you consider the county's budget, I would like you to consider these assertions you made when you asked us to entrust you with this job. Reflect on your time in this role and ask if you have done the work to fulfill these promises.
I do support that and believe in it, but I don't believe now is the time to burden people anymore with this. We talk about the high median income in this county, but that's the median income. So what about the half of the citizenry that live below the median income?